that's why, the running back and Kittle are so heavily involved with that offense.
Now, it is so hard to say what this season will look like without having a preseason. I do think it's a close game on Sunday. They played the Niners tough recently. I don't know that the Cardinals will win, but I do think they keep it within a touchdown. Colin Harmon, ABC 15 Sports.
Right. I'm digging that optimism, right, as we move into the first official weekend, the first weekend, I guess, since we didn't have a preseason of NFL action. We do want to check in with our Jorge Torres. I bet a lot of people are going to want to be outdoors on Sunday, even at home, watching football. But let's talk about what's going on out there this morning. It's nice.
It is nice outside, Kaylee. Temperatures statewide are very fall-like, especially up north in areas like Flagstaff. Once again, below freezing this morning there at 31 degrees at the Grand Canyon and Heber, both at 33. So it's a chilly start to this Friday morning in parts of the high country. And meanwhile, in the lower deserts, temperatures very pleasant. We're in the mid-70s in Phoenix, 65 in Gila Bend, Casa Grande, 63 degrees this morning, and 60 for you folks in Globe. Out west, temperatures a little warmer, but still a fantastic start to this last day of the work week. 70 in Lake Havasu City and 66 in Quartzsite. Satellite radar loop via Desert Doppler over the past 6 hours, not showing much activity. Something we will monitor very carefully, though, is the wildfire smoke coming in from California. Now, as of now, the air quality outlook for today across the state showing many locations in the moderate category. But again, that could change as a result of the smoke coming in from the west, something we'll keep a close eye on for sure. Right now, 74 degrees here in Phoenix Sky Harbor, winds light from the east at 5. Humidity is low at 27%, and a great morning to take your four-legged friend out for a nice morning stroll around the neighborhood through about 10 o'clock, and then right around 11 to midday, it'll begin to heat up, so err on the side of caution, so I'd recommend doing it now or wait till sunset, which is right around 6 o'clock. Now, look at the Valley Pool forecast today. Can't really complain at all. 100 degrees is our expected high, and it's actually below the seasonal average of 102. Burn time anywhere from 15 to 25, so of course lather up with that sunscreen. The planner for today showing those temperatures starting off in the 70s, warming up into the 80s by 9, and those winds remaining from the east right around 5 to 10. Elsewhere across state, 48, 70s up north, 80s in areas like Payson, Prescott, and Sedona, 90s in portions of Pinal County and areas to the south and west, around 100 in Yuma, 102 in Bullhead City, and 100 here in the Valley of the Sun. And this is a sign of things to come over the next few days. Beginning this weekend, we go anywhere from 103 to 106 Saturday and Sunday, with overnight lows, though, staying in the mid and upper 70s for the next couple of mornings. And then next week, more of the same. Highs anywhere from 104 to 105 as a powerful ridge of high pressure begins to build. As of now, it does not appear that we're going to be reaching 110, but still above average temperatures are in the forecast beginning this Sunday.
Well, at least 110 is not in that forecast, so we'll go with that. Thank you, Jorge. Hey, navigating playdates for your kids can be really tough right now. You know this if you're a parent. We are hearing from a psychotherapist who says a simple invitation can lead to some anxiety. If you're a parent, you know it can be awkward to say no. The health expert goes on to say respecting other mindsets is key to maintaining friendships as we do transition back to what sort of feels like normal. If you do decline a play date, try making plans for the future. And pediatricians are telling us health always needs to come first. So if you just don't feel safe going to someone else's house, don't feel bad about saying no.
Today is a somber day in our history, September 11th. The public memorials we're used to seeing and taking part in will not be as grand because of the pandemic. Ahead at 7 o'clock, we take you to the Tempe Healing Field as they remember the lives lost 19 years ago. And as you get ready for the new weekend, we know that there is some anxiety associated with our old lives returning to normal. So a psychologist has tips on how to go forward in this new phase. Join us for ABC 15 Mornings on CW 61 Arizona from 7 to 9 on Cox Channel 1006. In your entertainment news, get ready to scream. The popular horror franchise is coming back. Neve Campbell is set to return as Sidney Prescott in the relaunch of the films. Co-stars Courtney Cox and David Arquette are also returning to join the new generation of suspects and victims. The fifth Scream movie is due out in January of 2022. Harkins Theaters will honor the late Chadwick Boseman once again. You can catch Black Panther this weekend on the big screen. Tickets are just $5 and all proceeds go to the Colorectal Cancer Alliance. Several Valley theaters will have showings each day at 4 and 7. Looking to pop the question, why not woo your love with a 27-foot long hot dog? on wheels. The iconic Oscar Mayer Wienermobile is helping people find love. So you can actually rent the Wienermobile for the big day. It is free. The idea actually came from one Wienermobile driver who used the vehicle as a backdrop when he pretty much popped the question to his sweetie at Yellowstone National Park. I have a hunch that's either going to go over really well or really bad, but there you go. It's free.
And good morning. I'm Carla Navarrete out in Chandler. Districts across the valley are bringing in the youngest learners back into the classroom for in-person learning. First, we're going to explain to you why that is coming up.
On this Friday morning, we remember as we show you this live look. This is the Pentagon on this Patriot Day. 19 years ago today, the attacks of 9/11. We are about 15 minutes away from the reading of the names of those who were killed on that day. We will take a moment there to check in. There are ceremonies that are going to be happening on this day of remembrance. They will be virtual this year. We do want to say good morning to you and thank you for waking up with us here on ABC 15 Morning, starting your day. Our Nick Slutty is off. Justin Becerra is social distancing and joining us from the newsroom. Good morning.
Good morning, Kaylee. It's great to be with you guys, and it's great that it's Friday,
yes.
right?
And it's nice outside.
And it's nice outside. Jorge is here with the check on your forecast to tell you just how nice it's going to be. Hey there, Jorge.
Hey there, Justin and Kaylee. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, it's nice outside. Temperature is very crisp, especially up north in the freezing category there in Flagstaff, 31 right now. But here in Phoenix, a little warmer than that, but we'll take it. 74 degrees to start off your Friday morning. Wind light from the east at 5. Humidity is low, so it's a comfortable start to the last day of the work week, the weekend upon us. And it's going to be hot into the work week with temperatures climbing gradually throughout the day into the 80s by 9, 90s by 11. And we are calling for highs right around 100 degrees throughout the valley this afternoon. Forecast for you runners, hikers, and bikers, though, looking great for this morning. We'll talk more about the heat, though, that will return for your weekend coming up in your most accurate forecast.
All right, thanks, Jorge. We're looking forward to that. Chelsea Davis here. Good morning, everyone. I'm watching the roadways, and this Friday morning, we are seeing Friday-like conditions out there. West side of town, if you travel on I-10, barely any breaks as you get closer to the stack. I-17 around the Durango curve, they'll travel as slow as 22 miles per hour. Just a higher volume of traffic there, though. No reported crashes. North Valley and East Valley showing all green conditions right now and great desert drive times. Only 15 minutes to go westbound on US 60 from Loop 202 over to I-10, and the rest of your desert drive times are looking good, too.
You heard crickets chirping outside. You had all of the floodlights on, thinking it was dark. Everything is covered in ash. It smells like smoke. You'd think that you were in a fireplace.
Boy, that is a chilling description from a Valley native who is now living in Northern California. It's one of the big stories we're following for you on this Friday morning. Those devastating wildfires scorching the West. More than 100 are burning as we speak. The so-called North Complex fire, it's north of Sacramento, has now killed at least 10 people. More than a dozen others were still missing overnight. It was about 50% contained until winds fueled those flames. There are dozens of wildfires burning in California, but there are fires in the state of Washington and also in Oregon as well.
I've seen tornadoes, I've seen earthquakes, I've seen waves wash out land, floods. I've never seen anything like this.
And among the thousands of firefighters stretched too thin right now, we know there are dozens of firefighters from Arizona who are helping in this fight. The Arizona Fire and Medical Authority sending a crew of 4 to the front lines of the North Creek fire. The Arizona team working right now in the overnight hours.
Our responsibilities, we go in there, it's life safety. We're making sure that everyone's evacuated from the area. And then we're also protecting structures, houses, cabins.
And he says the firefighters are overtaxed, working very hard. So they're doing what they can to help the community. He's also telling us the vegetation is a new challenge for the Arizona crews compared to what they train for here in our state.
This morning, the trial is set for Lori Vallow Daybell. She is charged in the disappearance of her 2 children whose remains were found buried on her husband's property. Mark Thompson is live with the latest details on this case that is getting a lot of national attention. Good morning, Mark.
Yeah, it sure is, Justin. Good morning to you. And Daybell faces 2 felony charges. She has pled not guilty, so she will go to trial coming up next April. Lori is married to Chad Daybell. He owned the property where investigators found the remains of 7-year-old J.J. Vallow and 16-year-old Tylee Ryan. The bodies found 8 months after those kids went missing. Chad Daybell will go to trial in January. Lori sat stoic in court yesterday, listening to the judge as he explained the judicial process.
Ms. Daybell, do you have any questions about this document at all today?
No.
Do you understand what a waiver of a preliminary hearing is and what this document represents?
Yes.
And you're doing this freely and voluntarily, is that correct?
Yes.
Lori Vallow Daybell could also face charges in the death of her estranged husband, Charles Vallow. This is video of him speaking with police last year, saying that he was locked out of his home and he feared for his children's safety. The Chandler Police Department, they are currently investigating that case, and they could file charges against her for conspiracy to commit murder. We'll stay on top of this and see how it all plays out. A lot of pieces here to this story. Reporting live this morning, Mark Thompson, ABC 15, Arizona. Kaylee, back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you for that update. We appreciate it. It's 5:35, and today does mark a critical date in the pandemic. The official pandemic did begin 6 months ago. The World Health Organization made the official announcement, followed by death and economic turmoil. COVID has claimed 905,000 lives globally. The United States accounts for 191,000 of that death toll. Many school districts are slowly going back to in-person learning, and that back to brick and mortar school means letting the little ones in first. We're talking about kindergarten, first and second graders typically. Our Carla Navarrete joining us right now. Carla, you asked the experts why this age group in particular is so important to get back to the classroom first. What'd they say?
Yeah. And I'll tell you, Kaylee, it is K through second grade, right, that are going back. Chandler Unified is sending those little ones back starting on Monday. And then Kyrene Elementary School District, they are going back starting Thursday of next week.
B, bat, B, C, cat.
Learning the alphabet and the sounds the letters make. Those are just some of the skills a kindergartner will learn throughout the first year of school. But the learning is more than academic.
There's definitely a peak of acquirement at this age are the social emotional skills about how to navigate different social situations, how to communicate effectively with your peers, how to take compliments, how to take insults, the back and forth banter which we see on the playground. That's a practice for real life situations.
Those basic skills of coping and interacting with others, Katie McPherson says, coupled with occupational skills, are the things that she believes are driving districts across the valley to bring in this age group first.
Simple things like rote memorization and holding a pencil and gross motor skills and the things that we really take for granted as adults, those being lost would be hard to catch up on. And so getting them back in the classroom soon is top of mind.
Paint and science.
You want to paint? Yeah.
Last week, we introduced you to London. She's leaving the laptop and kitchen table behind and heading back into in-person learning starting on Monday.
I think kindergarten's really important. You know, the first thing they learn is how to interact with kids and how to get along and be around people, you know, and she's missing out on that.
There is no substitute for children just hanging out and playing.
Developmental pediatrician Dr. Ron Melman says while not perfect, the getting back kids into brick and mortar schools safely is definitely a priority.
We know now what to expect. We know what to do. And I think that's going to be a game changer as far as schools being able to adapt that much more easily.
Yeah, and earlier this week, Deer Valley also announcing they will be sending their preschoolers and kindergartners along with their high school seniors back first. That comes on September 24th. For now, reporting in Chandler, Carla Navarrete, ABC 15, Arizona.
All right, Carla, thank you for asking those questions. I think a lot of people were curious about the littlest ones going back first. Appreciate that.
ASU posting the latest number of students and faculty who have tested positive for the coronavirus. More than 1,400 confirmed cases on the campus since August 1st. That's 83 more cases than the school reported on Tuesday. According to ASU, 637 of those cases are currently active, meaning the students or staff have not been medically cleared yet to return in person.
It is 5:39, and now to the major drug bust. The DEA showing off its massive drug seizures, results from what agents call Operation Crystal Shield. U.S. Attorney General William Barr was in Phoenix to make the announcement, saying we've seen a 25% increase in methamphetamine deaths in just 1 year. So the DEA's Operation Crystal Shield set out to dismantle meth trafficking hubs in 9 cities, including ours, Phoenix. Overall, they made more than 1,800 arrests, seized more than 28,000 pounds of meth, 284 guns, and $43 million.
The Guillen family has been robbed of their day in court with their daughter's killer because he's dead now. How do you explain that?
We have to find answers, and we will hold people accountable.
Well, tonight, a 2020 special you will not want to miss. Fort Hood soldier Vanessa Guillen brutally murdered. Her family is working tirelessly advocating for justice. And now the Secretary of the Army is sharing unreported details in this case. Catch I Am Vanessa, the 2-hour event tonight on ABC 15 starting at 8. The time right now is 8:40. As schools slowly reopen, we are weeks into the fall semester, and it's created hardships for one group of students in Phoenix. And it is time for Act 2 in the theater. Broadway musicals have been on hold for 6 months. Now the show must go on, and One Valley production company has some ideas in the works.
ABC 15 Desert Drive Time, sponsored by Accident Law Group.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Friday. We finally made it to the end of the week. All right, we're watching the roadways, and the good news is we have Friday-like conditions as well. East Valley showing green flows into and out of Maricopa on State Route 347. I-10, Loop 101, Loop 202s, all of them. US 60 looking clear as well. North Valley has been also quiet, even US 60 as you continue to make your way out west through Wickenburg and beyond. I-10 eastbound, you're going to start to see breaks around Loop 202 South Mountain before you get over to the stack, but you're traveling around 30 miles per hour. It could be worse, and that's only for a short stretch. Right now, I-17 only has some breaks around the Durango curve before you get to the split, but we want to show you what I-17 looks like southbound with our ADOT camera once you go closer to Bethany Home. So as you're making your way into the stack from Loop 101, even down to that point, no breaks as of yet, but I'll keep watching that, and I'll let you know when it changes.
Okay, thank you very much, Chelsea. 5:45, safely back to school. It's a top issue across the nation, and it has been for months. There are more than 7 million special education students across this country, and for these students and their families, school closures may have become more difficult than anyone might have imagined, and students in Phoenix are feeling the effects just as much.
We aren't noticing a significant regression in the majority of the kids.
Robin Sweet, the director of Gateway Academy, says progress is slipping away for children with autism.
I'll eat lunch with them, and we'll just kind of sit around the table and talk and tell each other jokes and stories.
Hannah Vasquez used to spend breaks socializing with other students. Because of distance learning, though, those interactions are no longer happening.
When we talk to them now, we go, oh my God, what happened? He's doing self-talk and, hiding in the corner or under the desk, and now doesn't want to get on the screen. It's very frustrating.
For students with autism, no longer having an in-person social outlet is detrimental.
I think as much social interaction that these children can have really has a direct impact on their adult life.
Isolation is the kiss of death. Our students need more than just academics. Our counselor is working with the individual students that are really struggling.
We're going to take everybody's journal and we're going to...
And it's brutal for the parents too, because it is not easy to teach our students because they require a tremendous amount of redirection and keeping on task. Also, they ask very, very high intellectual questions.
It's schools across the country like Gateway that specialize in teaching children with special needs who may be the most anxious, knowing that their students are suffering more and more every single day.
Back on campus is the best thing that could happen to all of us.
And right now, Gateway Academy in Phoenix is scheduled to open for in-person learning in October.
So 19 years ago this time, nearly 3,000 Americans were living their life not knowing it would be their last moments on Earth. So today marks the 19th anniversary of the September 11th attacks.
I think most of us know exactly where we were when we got news of this. This now is Patriot Day, and you are looking live at New York City, where the annual remembrance ceremony is now underway. You can hear the reading of the victims' names. Now, it's typically live, but because of the pandemic, family members of the victims, they have recorded these messages. Let's take a listen.
Adler, Daniel Thomas Aflito, Emmanuel Akwazi Afakwa,
Alok Agarwal,
Mukul Kumar Agarwala,
Joseph Agnello, David Scott Agnes,
Joao Alberto da Fonseca Aguiar Jr.,
Brian G. Ahern,
Jeremiah Joseph Ahern.
Really puts it into
Joanne
perspective there to hear them
Marie
reading all of those names.
Aladiotis.
Again, this is a live look in New York
Xavier
City at the memorial there.
Ahmed.
So ceremonies are being held across the country, and a memorable one is the Tempe Healing Field, which displays American flags for the victims across Tempe Beach Park. This year's ceremony is also virtual, and you can tune in right now to the site's Facebook page. This is a live look from Tempe. Jorge Torres is here with a check on your forecast, your weekend forecast. Hey there, Jorge.
Hey there, Justin. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. It's off and running with temperatures below freezing up north. In the valley, we're in the 70s, but we are expecting hotter days ahead as a result of a ridge of high pressure that'll finally begin to build over the southwest after a brief break, if you will, thanks to a storm that passed through earlier this week, causing temperatures to dip into the 90s for a few days for highs. That will unfortunately not last for long, as I mentioned, that big ridge, the big H you see on your screen, begins to build over the southwest, meaning triple-digit heat will return as early as today. Right now, though, temperatures across the valley anywhere from the mid and upper 60s in Goodyear and Glendale to the mid 70s in Mesa and at Sky Harbor. And as I mentioned, some spots are below freezing this morning, including Flagstaff now at 31. 33 at the Grand Canyon and in Heber. Show low 45 degrees this morning, 42 in Winslow, 60 in Globe, and 70 in Lake Havasu City. Plan it for the rest of your Friday here in the valley, showing those temperatures starting off in the mid-70s, warming up into the 80s by 9 o'clock, and by about midday, we'll be back in the lower 90s, and by the afternoon, we'll be flirting with that 100-degree mark. And in many parts of the valley, we are expecting highs at or above 100 from Deer Valley to Peoria, Surprise, Wickenburg, 101 this afternoon, 100 in Buckeye. As you head toward the North Valley, a little bit cooler, but still warm. 97 in Anthem, along with Cave Creek, and 99 in the far East Valley there in Santan Valley. To escape the triple-digit heat, of course, head up north to the high country in the mid-70s this afternoon in Flagstaff, 87 in Sedona, and 77 for you folks in Show Low. That is how it looks for today. And elsewhere across the state, we'll be in the 80s, up around Lake Powell and Page, 74 on the Navajo Nation, 75 in Heber. Payson warming up to 84 degrees this afternoon, but out to the west, a little bit hotter. Typically is the case. 100 in Yuma this afternoon, 101 in Lake Havasu City, and 102 in Bullhead City. And this is just a sign of things to come over the next several days. Your 7-day forecast showing temperatures on Saturday climbing up to 103, even hotter on Sunday at 106, and we stay anywhere from about 104 to 105 Monday through Thursday of next week, with overnight lows staying in the upper 70s through Sunday morning, and then we're in the 80s for lows beginning early next week.
As thousands of students prepare to head back to the classroom on Monday, parents, teachers, and administrators, they're all split on whether it is safe to do so. I'm Mark Thompson. I'll break down all sides coming up.
So tonight, the Phoenix Rising becomes the first Valley sports team to welcome fans at their games. They're going to be hosting the Las Vegas Lights at Casino Arizona Field. 1,000 season ticket holders, they're going to be allowed to sit in the stands. You can also watch all of the action right here live on CW61 Arizona starting at 7:30. You can also stream it live on the ABC 15 app, Roku, and these streaming devices.
Saying goes, the show must go on. The Arizona Broadway Theatre in Peoria announcing its plans to return. The theater has been shut down for the past 6 months. Chicago had just opened when it was forced to shut down days later. The set is still on that stage. Costumes are waiting patiently there on the rack. Production for small-scale performances will be back this fall. Bigger productions like Chicago will return by early next year.
We're able to become very creative in the way that theater used to always be. A bunch of willing participants coming together to make magic.
And feel magic, right, as we get life back to normal, or our new norm. Tribute shows are in the works, as well as Broadway Bingo, which will be interactive with the audience. There will even be a murder mystery series. A full schedule will be released for that on Monday.
Jumbotron in New York's Times Square is about to be lit up with some special people. The National Down Syndrome Society showcasing 500 people to show the world the accomplishments people with Down syndrome have made. Dominique Freeman is from Tucson and was one of the people chosen. Her family will be watching from home when it lights up in New York City tomorrow.
Well, speaking of New York City and also here in the Valley, on the left part of your screen, that's Mayor Corey Woods there from Tempe and the Tempe Healing Fields. This ceremony is being held virtually because of the pandemic this year, all to remember and honor the lives lost on this day 19 years ago in the September 11th terror attacks. On the right side of your screen, the September 11th Memorial and Museum in New York City.
This is ABC 15 Mornings.
More COVID cases reported at Valley schools and more teachers worried for what's to come, as a large number of students and staff members return to the classroom in just a couple of days.
After years of lobbying and several deaths, a bridge over Tonto Creek will finally be built. We're talking with the community about what this means for Gila County.
But first, today does mark 19 years since we lost nearly 3,000 Americans in the September 11th terror attacks. Right now, ceremonies are underway honoring those who died, and we want to show you this live look here from New York City.
So because of the coronavirus pandemic, most of today's commemorations will be virtual, including the reading of names happening now at Tempe Beach Park. But Patriot Day is also meant to be a day of service where we can give back in honor of the heroes and first responders that we lost. And there's the live look from Tempe Beach Park right now. That is also streaming on the Healing Fields Facebook page. Such a moving thing to go to Tempe Beach Park and see those flags there.
It's become something we were doing every year with our kids, obviously different this year, but in the years to come, right? We will continue to remember this morning. We're going to have a special here on ABC 15 tonight, the day we came together, and that's going to happen at 7 o'clock. We hope that you'll join us for that. Right now, we're thrilled that you're waking up with us on this Friday morning. Woke up this morning. Justin, nice to have you here bright and early. How nice was it to be outside on your way into work, windows rolled down, music cranked?
You know what? Actually, I did have the windows down and the music cranked. I mean, it's Friday, right? And it was perfect weather. We kind of saw in that shot right there from Tempe, the sun coming up. So hopefully it's going to be a really nice Friday out there for us. Jorge Torres is in for Iris this morning with a check on your forecast. Hey there, Jorge.
Hey there, Justin and Kaylee. Good Friday morning, everybody. We are expecting it to be the beginning, unfortunately, of our next heat wave, if you will. We're not looking at 110s, though, so there is some good news there. But 100s are back in the forecast as early as today. But right now, it's a pleasant start to your Friday morning here in the Valley, generally in the 60s and 70s. From Avondale and Glendale, 74 in Mesa, and 73 at Sky Harbor. Now, we are concerned with the wildfire smoke coming in from California. That could be a concern over the next few days. But at least for today, the outlook is calling for just a moderate category as far as our air quality. Now, as far as those temperatures, we'll be in the 80s by 10, and there's our expected high of 100. So get that jog in now before it heats up this afternoon. We'll tell you what's ahead for the rest of your weekend as well, coming up in your most accurate forecast.
All right, thanks so much. We're looking forward to it. Chelsea Davis here. Happy Friday, everybody. Friday light conditions are what we see with our Valley roadways, with our accident log group traffic maps, especially on the east side of town. So many green flows on all of those freeways. North Valley, same story. If you're traveling from the west side of town, the desert drive time for I-10 right now, eastbound between the 303, making your way into downtown Phoenix through the mini stack, will be 24 minutes to go 23 miles. Not bad, especially considering with our ADOT camera, we have a crash that a semi is involved in that was just blocking the right lane and recently moved to that right shoulder. So you may need to factor in a few extra minutes as brakes might build here in the next few. So I'll keep watching it. I'll let you know when this is clear.
Okay, Chelsea, thank you so much. You know, for thousands of parents, teachers, and kids, this weekend is going to be all about preparation. Monday, several districts will start modified or phased-in approaches to in-person learning. Our Mark Thompson live this morning, and Mark, Monday will certainly be coming with some anxiety.
Yeah, absolutely, Kaylee. Good morning to you. And I know a lot of parents are probably thinking about that right now and will be all throughout the weekend because come Monday, as you mentioned, thousands of students, Mesa, Chandler, Scottsdale, they're all going to be returning to the classroom, and that's got parents and teachers, for that matter, really worried. And for good reason. We started to see some COVID-19 cases popping up at schools across the valley. On Thursday, parents held a rally saying that schools are not safe. ABC 15 has learned that at least one person tested positive at American Leadership Academy in Queen Creek, and another case was reported at Chandler Prep Academy. Now, these parents, they're worried that teachers, they're going to just leave.
They're losing a lot of very experienced teachers, and a lot of teachers that have given a lot of their time and livelihood to this organization. If they are not going to look out for the best interests of our students and our teachers, then it's left to us to do that for ourselves and for them.
Now, of course, parents on the other side of this issue, they want to see not only their children back in the classroom, but they want to see their teachers there teaching them in person as well. Of course, we're going to stay on top of this. We're going to be all over all of these districts coming up on Monday, and we're going to let you know how things play out in the days and weeks ahead. Reporting live this morning, Mark Thompson, ABC 15 Arizona. Back to you.
Well, on Monday, we will also be watching for any type of teacher sick out. This week, we did see that happen at Cactus Shadows High School, and we were there to cover it for you earlier this week there in Cave Creek. In-person learning was canceled Tuesday, but kids are back in the classroom there this morning. Some teachers do feel it is not safe, though, to be back in the building.
Continuing to meet the state health benchmarks, Maricopa County is still in the green for in-person classes. There is, however, a slight increase in one of the metrics. The rate of spread in Maricopa County, now 51 cases per every 100,000 people. Last week it was 43 cases. The benchmark requires case spread to be below 100 cases per 100,000 people.
This weekend, researchers will start going door to door in several Valley neighborhoods, all to test for COVID-19 antibodies. And here's what you can expect to happen if your home is chosen in the Sero survey. ASU and Maricopa County are behind this study. It's completely anonymous. Blood samples will be sent to Mayo Clinic and then analyzed.
Unemployment money is drying up for Arizonans. FEMA confirming to ABC 15 it only has enough funding for 6 weeks of the $300 assistance. This is week 6. That means back to $240 a week for hundreds of thousands of Arizonans. And with the state trust fund running out and no progress from Congress, Governor Ducey is hesitant to commit state money to help, instead holding out hope that Congress will come to an agreement on some sort of a relief package.
We need Congress to do their job. They should stop playing partisan politics and get back to work.
So the governor says Arizona has options for if the state unemployment fund is completely depleted, but he did not specify what those options are. Plenty of scams have been popping up during the pandemic. Now the Department of Justice says nearly 6 people have been arrested for fraud related to the Paycheck Protection Program. The DOJ says the money meant to help struggling small businesses was instead spent on personal luxury items by the fraudsters. A total of $30 million has been seized or frozen.
It's almost 6:07 here. Remember this? Well, federal investigators releasing their report on that train crash and chemical spill at Tempe Beach Park back in July. 12 cars came off the tracks, and there is one looming question this morning. Our Cameron Pullum with what still needs to be answered.
The big question still lingering after the report: did the trestles fail and cause the derailment, or did the derailment cause those trestles to fail? It remains a mystery today. What we do know is there was no criminal involvement, as it was speculated on social media. The FBI confirms there was no evidence of it. According to the report, the Union Pacific train derailed as it traveled over the wooden trestle you see there leading to the steel superstructure bridge. Experts tell me wooden trestles are used frequently in the desert due to their durability. However, they can hide flaws in their design. The report goes on to say the train, 100 cars long, over a mile in length, was cruising along at 23 miles an hour when the accident happened. Nearly half the train had crossed the bridge before the derailment. We now know 12 cars came off the tracks, causing a fire and small chemical spill you see there covered in white foam. As for my original question, was it the trestles that failed, or did the derailment cause the trestles to fail? We'll have to wait and see if the NTSB gives us an answer. I can tell you the wooden trestles have now been replaced by steel ones, and the line is back open and operational. Union Pacific estimates the damage at $8 to $10 million. I'm Cameron Polam, ABC 15, Arizona.
Next on ABC 15 Mornings, did you receive a text or email that isn't what it seems? You are not alone, because it is the latest scam targeting unsuspecting people. The Let Joe Know team looking into it.
And next here on ABC 15 Mornings, scheduling a play date for your kids. Don't be surprised if things might get a little awkward with other parents, because things are changing during this pandemic.
ABC 15 Desert Drive Time, sponsored by Accident Law Group.
Welcome back, everybody. Happy Friday. Friday-like conditions, always a good thing. As we start our weekend with our Accident Law Group traffic maps, we're going to zoom on over to the east side of town. All of those valley freeways are showing green flows. Great desert drive time if you travel on Loop 202 Santan in the southbound to westbound direction from US 60 over to I-10, 21 minutes to go 24 miles. North Valley also looking clear. And if you're traveling on I-17 into downtown, green conditions. And if you're traveling up north to, let's say, Flagstaff, also a great desert drive time right now. From Loop 101 all the way up to I-40, it'll take you less than 2 hours to get up there. We'll take that. West side of town, I-10 looks a lot better in that eastbound direction. We saw some breaks out there, but right now the desert drive time is way below average, 20 minutes to go eastbound between the 303 to the mini stack. That's 20 minutes to go 23 miles. With our ADOT camera, we still have that crash that's involving a semi off to the right shoulder, but it doesn't appear to be slowing anything down, so that's some good news. Right now, though, let's go ahead and check in with meteorologist Jorge Torres. It's a great start to the day.
It sure is, Chelsea. Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. We're off and running on what should be a pleasant day for most of us, although we're going to get a taste of that heat that's going to return for your upcoming weekend. But outside right now, via the clouds and radar desert Doppler loop over the past 6 hours, not much to detect, although smoke may be a concern from the wildfires burning in California over the next few days. And as far as those temperatures, as I mentioned, we'll get a taste of that heat this afternoon, but it's going to intensify throughout the weekend and early next week as well, as a result of this big ridge of high pressure that will build once again across the west, something we don't want to see, especially in areas like California where they're still dealing with the wildfires. But here in Arizona, we do expect the extreme heat to return, but not excessive heat. We're not expecting 110s to be back. There's some good news there, but highs will be anywhere from 103 to 106 at times beginning tomorrow. Now, the air quality for today and also for the early part of the weekend remaining in the moderate category, so that is some good news. However, it could eventually, if we get enough smoke, be put into that unhealthy for sensitive groups category. We're talking young children, the elderly, and those who have respiratory issues such as asthma or COPD. But not the case for now, so that is some good news there. Currently, we're at 73 here in Phoenix, 50 in Prescott, and still below freezing this morning for you folks in Flagstaff there in Coconino County. 32 at the Grand Canyon, along with Window Rock and the Navajo Nation. It chilly start up there in Apache County, 52 in Page. 60s, though, to the south and west. But this afternoon, notice those temperatures will be back to at and above 100 after dealing with highs in the 90s for about 3 days. The heat is going to come back gradually. Areas like Kingman, though, will be in the lower 90s this afternoon, 74 in Flagstaff, and along the rim, we do expect highs to remain in the mid and upper 70s. The planner for the rest of your Friday showing those temperatures slowly warming up. Will be in the mid and upper 70s through 8, and the 80s from 9 till about 11, and then the 90s are here through at least about 2 to 3, and then right around 100 by this afternoon. So the pendulum continues to swing. We were at 109 on Monday, 90 the coolest day on Wednesday, and today calling for a high of 100. So here's that 7-day forecast. Even hotter for the weekend with highs back up to 103 on Saturday. The hottest day out of the next 7, at least for now, looks to be on Sunday with a high of 106. And then next week, more the same with highs between 104 and 105 and lows in the 70s and 80s.
All right, well, a day that football fans can justify being in hibernation, right? With NFL kicking off for the weekend. Thank you. Hey, with so many people out of work right now, getting scammed out of thousands of dollars in some cases can certainly be devastating. There's a new warning for you this morning. It's from our Let Joe Know team about emails, text messages, and calls that are not what they seem. Here's Joe Ducey with the story of a woman who never thought she'd be telling it.
The email looked legitimate from PayPal. Her antivirus software was renewing, and they charged her more than $500.
I didn't want the Norton virus, so I called the number on the email that I received.
And wanted the money refunded. She's told,
all we need to do is transfer the funds back.
Transfer the money directly into her bank account. So she gives them access. Says she sees the $500 charge. But then,
boom, an extra zero popped into it. So here's now $5,000.
Ann was being scammed and didn't know it yet. She just wanted her $500 back. But these scammers are bold. While in her bank account, they manipulated, showing Ann that they mistakenly refunded her $5,000 instead of $500. And now they want their money back.
He says, go to your bank and have the money transferred.
Ann tried, but the bank suspected a scam and wouldn't allow it. Ann didn't know what to think, but still wants to return that money.
I thought, well, okay, the $4,500 doesn't belong to me, so I'll do what he tells me to do. To send him $4,500 in cash to an address in California.
She sent it by UPS. Ann says she felt panicked, like she was being held hostage and just wanted it all to end. These scammers know what they're doing. When she finally realized it was all a fraud, she says she called UPS and got some good news.
The package has been intercepted and would not be delivered. I thought, oh, thank you, God.
That good news was temporary. From a UPS email, customer attempted to place hold on package, but it was never completed and package was delivered. Ann lost $4,500, blaming herself and UPS. UPS did not get back to us by airtime. Ann told her story to prevent others from being victimized by the same scam. Bottom line, don't click on email links or talk to unknown callers. Reach the business through contacts you know are legitimate. And never let anyone remotely into your bank account or your computer. Have you been scammed? Email joe@abc15.com. For the Rebound Arizona, I'm Joe Ducey. If you got a problem, let me know.
The University of Arizona is doing its part to try and prevent the spread of COVID-19. U Arizona launching a COVID Watch app and Wildcat Well Check. The app notifies you if you've been exposed to COVID-19, and 18,000 people have downloaded it.
The app is completely anonymous, so we don't necessarily know where they are. And we know that because those people show up at Campus Health and say, hey, the app notified me. You know what, I'd like to schedule a test.
So the Wildcat Well Check is a program for students and staff to assess their health every single day. About 6,700 students and staff have enrolled in that well check, with about half of them checking it daily. University of Arizona reporting 819 cases among students and staff, with more than 21,000 tests taken.
6:19, navigating playdates for moms and dads can be really tough right now, especially during a pandemic. A psychotherapist we heard from here says just getting an invite can be a source of anxiety, and it can be sort of awkward to say no. She says people are at different levels of returning to normalcy right now, so respecting other mindsets is key to maintaining friendships in the future. If you do decline a playdate, try making plans for the future though. And pediatricians tell us health should always come first. We know that. So if you don't feel safe going to someone else's home, it is okay, they say, to just say no.
So a bike can be a taste of independence for a child and a transportation lifeline for adults in need. Right now, we are teaming up with St. Vincent de Paul and Earnhardt Auto Centers for the Second Chance Bike Drive. You can help by donating a new or used bike on Saturday, September the 26th, or by donating money to help refurbish older bikes. For all the details, you can head to abc15.com/bike.
School, it's about more than just academics. Only here on ABC 15 Mornings, why some say it's so vital to get the youngest kids back into the classroom. And then if you struggle with threading a needle, our Smart Shopper team is testing a new product that claims to fix your hems and those loose threads. But is it bull or no bull?
Smart Shopper Chelsea Davis here, and if you've ever had a wardrobe mishap, whether that's a tear or even a hem that came undone, sewing or gluing can get pretty messy. So today I'm testing out a product called No Stitch, and I have to give a special shout out to Nancy Gadsby, who reached out to me on Facebook encouraging me to try it. I'm gonna let you know if it's bull or no bull. The first test subject is my yellow dress. The hem has come completely undone all along the bottom, so we're gonna try to fix this. But first, we need to set up the No Stitch. So I bent the stand, placed the iron on, plugged it in, and then turned it on. Now we have to wait 5 minutes for the No Stitch to heat up. And obviously, be careful because this is a hot object, so you want to avoid burns. Our pack came with 2 adhesive powder bottles. They say they're great for denim, cotton, linen, rayon, nylon, corduroy, wool, polyester, acrylic silk, and more. Our dress is mostly cotton and polyester. I squeezed out the glue powder and, as instructed, made sure there were no clumps. Then I folded over the material and placed the wax paper on top that was provided. Now that it's hot, it's time to see if this No Stitch wand is magical. Press the plate onto the wax paper, hold at each section for 10 seconds, and repeat that step until you've covered the entire area. When we were finished, we placed the iron back on the stand, turned it off, removed the wax paper, and let the fabric cool completely. After a few minutes, the fabric was cool to the touch, meaning that the adhesive powder had hardened and the fabric is ready. I gave it a couple of tugs to make sure it was secure, but unless you're pulling with all your might, it seems like it's gonna hold tight. The No Stitch definitely helped fix the hemline of this dress, so now I can say yellow to a new outfit. It definitely lived up to the claim of hemming, mending, and fixing without sewing. I bought the No Stitch on Amazon for $24.95. So where does it rank on our bull or no bull meter? I'm going with no bull! And if you want to give it a try, go to our website, abc15.com/smartshopper.
So Harkins Theaters will honor the late Chadwick Boseman once again. You can catch Black Panther this weekend on the big screen. Tickets are just $5 and all proceeds go to Colorectal Cancer Alliance. Several Valley theaters will have showings each day at 4 and 7.
Well, we are just zooming right along for you on this Friday morning. Up next here at 6:30, the West Coast on fire. Millions of acres destroyed, homes are gone, toxic smoke in the air. We do have new information on these massive wildfires.
Patriots Day, as we honor the lives lost on 9/11 19 years ago. But this year's memorial will be much different. This is a live look right now from Tempe Beach Park, where a ceremony is underway this morning.
This is ABC 15 Mornings.
Our top story this half hour, wildfires devastating the West Coast, and sadly the death toll from these fires is growing once again. The North Complex fire near Sacramento has now killed at least 10 people. More than a dozen others are still missing this morning. Thousands in the area were forced to leave their homes while watching their houses burn. More than 20,000 homes and businesses are threatened by flames. In Washington state, residents left stunned by the aftermath of a massive fire that destroyed the town of Malden.
I've seen tornadoes, I've seen earthquakes, I've seen waves wash out land, floods. I've never seen anything like this.
And in Oregon, nearly 50 wildfires are burning across that state. Officials are not even able to assess the damage or the death toll at this point because they are stretched so thin.
And Kaylee, dozens of Arizona firefighters are on the ground helping in that firefight. The Arizona Fire and Medical Authority sending a crew of 4 to the front lines of the Creek Fire northeast of Fresno.
Right now, California, the firefighters over here, they're working really hard and they're overtaxed right now. And so we're going to do everything we can to help them and help the community.
You know, the team says compared to desert fires, vegetation in the Sierra National Forest makes it a lot harder to contain the spread because the trees there, they can burn hotter and they can burn for longer.
Yeah, and there's just so much fuel. It's ripe to burn right now. One of the things that we have seen in our skies as we turn to our meteorologist Jorge Torres in for Iris today is this red hue. I mean, as we've looked at the moon at night, you've seen it, which means we've seen some smoke move into the state of Arizona from California. A lot of people wondering about our air quality here, Jorge.
Yeah, a very fair point and good question, Kaylee. We're monitoring that smoke, and I just checked the latest satellite imagery, and it's all over Arizona from Flagstaff all the way here to the valley. So that's how it looks outside right now. It looks like we have a lot of cloud cover, but a lot of it's smoke from those fires burning in California. Thankfully, because it's so high up, it won't really impact our air quality as much as, say, if it was a lot lower. So the air quality is in that moderate category for at least the time being throughout the state, including here in the valley. Temperatures are currently in the 60s and 70s in portions of Maricopa County, from Chandler, where it's currently 64, to 74 in Mesa, and at Sky Harbor, it is 73. And the planner for the rest of the day showing those temperatures climbing gradually into the 90s by about noon and topping out around 100. However, if this smoke is thick enough in the mid and upper levels of the atmosphere, temperatures won't make it to 100 degrees. So that is a silver lining, if you will, with the abundant smoke that we have. So it's going to be a hazy start to the day with temperatures staying in the 70s for you hikers out there. By the afternoon, calling for highs in the mid and upper 90s to right around 100. Again, depending on how thick that haze remains for the rest of the day. We'll talk more about what's ahead for your upcoming weekend as well in just a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Jorge. We really appreciate it. I'm part of the sensitive group, so I need to know, can I go outside? Should I stay in? So we appreciate your help, too. Watching the accident log group traffic maps right now, North Valley seeing lots of green with all of the freeways there, I-17, Loop 101, Carefree Highway, Loop 303. If you take 17 southbound from Loop 101 through the stack, around the Durango curve and over to the split, 22 minutes to go 20 miles is your desert drive time right now. East Valley, overall, quiet conditions. US 60 especially looks great this morning, westbound between Loop 202 over to I-10, 16 minutes to go 17 miles. And